As global warming accelerates, heat waves are becoming more common.
113 degrees Fahrenheit
is unbearably hot in India right now,
leaving damage and death in their wake. And this summer was no exception.
With the heat warning, we've got temperatures highs into the 40s, with the humidex feeling into the mid-40s.
I'm Banias, and this is The Breakdown.
Review panel found all public agencies failed to warn people about the dangers posed by extreme temperatures in a timely way.
Climate change is altering how we coexist with our planet. As temperatures rise, heat waves and phenomena known as heat domes are becoming a regular part of summer around the globe.
We're very concerned about extreme heat because it's a kind of disaster that we haven't spent a lot of attention on.
This is Joanna Acom, Managing Director of the Intact Center on Climate Adaptation at the University of Waterloo.
And I think the summer events in 2021 in Canada
recorded the country's highest ever temperature this week.
Particularly act as a wake-up call that this is a serious issue.
So let's break down why these heat domes occur and what experts say we need to do in order to adapt. On June 23rd, 2021, the United States National Weather Service warned of an approaching heat wave in the Pacific Northwest. Warm air riding the jet stream from China cooled as it neared the west coast, where it bumped into a high pressure zone. This created what meteorologists call an omega block, or a heat dome, above British Columbia and parts of the United States. Over the next few days, as the heat dome intensified, temperatures skyrocketed. Many communities broke weather records, with several days reaching 40 degrees centigrade.
In terms of infrastructure, we're often very worried about the power system because we're increasingly reliant on electricity. So the power grid is obviously vulnerable to extreme heat because we're actually asking equipment to operate outside its design specification at a time when there's actually great demand for electricity. So that can actually lead to more vulnerability in the system.
Airport runways can literally melt. Telecommunication lines and digital infrastructure, bridges, highways, and light rail systems all shut down due to thermal fatigue. And that's not all. Livestock and agricultural crops were destroyed.
Hundreds, if not thousands of acres of crops are being wasted.
One heat dome event can inflict major economic damage. But the impact of extreme temperatures goes well beyond money.
Really, the cost of extreme heat is we're paying in people's lives.
According to British Columbia's coroner's office, between June 25th and July 1st, 818 people died in the province, a 400% increase compared to the 5-year average for that week. The data indicates that 526 of those deaths are directly attributed to extreme heat, and most occurred in the Metro Vancouver area.
So floods and fires, often, particularly with flooding, we see a lot of damage to property and buildings, but we don't see the same level of death. And I think it's very much the fact that we cannot see who is being affected by extreme heat because these people are probably at home on their own. And so I think that's a key social challenge, actually.
And that social change is imperative. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and the Center for Disease Control, extreme heat kills more people than any other weather event.
In some of the actions to combat extreme heat are very much on social behavior and emergency planning to make sure that we are supporting people that we know are going to be vulnerable to extreme heat in advance.
So how do we adapt? Well, first and foremost, we must have systems in place to regularly check on the most vulnerable individuals. Public cooling areas and emergency plans should be created to cope with long-term disruptions. Developing green infrastructure like tree canopies and urban parks can diffuse heat. Experts also say we need to change the way we build. Thermal fatigue can cause structural issues, making infrastructure unsafe. Solely relying on electricity to keep us cool may not be sustainable, since the power grid is unable to keep up with demand. Socially, we don't view the threat posed by heat as we do a flood or earthquake. It seems less chaotic, but that perception needs to change, and we need to be prepared. Thank you for watching, and make sure you click subscribe. I'm Banias, and this has been The Breakdown.